Now, in this video, I want to talk about these two lovely crystals called the white quartz. When I got these crystals, I bought like a bunch of them. I bought it from a lady from Cape Town, and I connected with her through a patient that I usually ask that they should actually get the type of crystals, and I guess she's the one who connected me with her. And I stocked up so many crystals. And these ones were the first time touching this crystal, right? And it is so interesting because when this lady told me about this crystal, she said that if you work with this crystal, you're gonna get keys, right? And having to think about it in my mind, it means that these crystals hold so much keys in order for you to use and tap into them and start to interact with different timelines, dimensions, or portals, right? She said to me that when you work with these crystals, they have hieroglyphics in them. So in my mind, I was like, so it means that if I project my reality in spending more time with this crystal, then it means that I'll be able to see a different motion of symbolism that when I decipher it into a source of information by breaking it down, I can be able to educate myself through this crystal, right? Which is something that I know about crystals because all crystals have got hieroglyphics inside of them. But it was so fascinating that already she said that this crystal hold keys, this crystal has got like hieroglyphics. And not only that, she said that when you work with this crystal, you'll start to open windows to different realities. She said to me that you'll interact with different windows. And in my mind, I was like, this means that this crystal, when I interact with it, I'll be able to open and project myself into a different reality that will open different doors to windows, which I can be able to see myself as a visual motion and start to create a reality out of them, right? Already I was actually connecting with the crystal. She said to me that, because what I actually stumbled upon that was so interesting, right, was when she said, when you work with this crystal, they clear out. And when they clear out, you can see a rainbow in it. Like, wow. Okay. I got so much interested in them. She could have said a lot, but she didn't. And I spent like days looking into these crystals, looking into them, and I could actually have an intimate connection with them to the point that I was able to see rainbow in it, right? And knowing this about crystals, what's really inside crystals, before I can share the experience, how I tapped into this crystal, because I was not interested into seeing what she was telling me about it from outside the world, but I wanted to get inside of a crystal and start to interact with it and see all of that myself and be able to teach myself more sacred information inside of them. Before I go to that experience, I want to firstly say that what's inside crystals, right? What's inside crystals? And I think this is important because a lot of people, they interact with crystals, but they don't have a full idea how much power and information they carry inside of them. And I want to give you a clear understanding what actually creates that, right? Now, when you look inside of a crystal, what you see is sacred geometry, different patterns and shapes of it inside of a crystal, to the point that when you break it into two and make it into a half, you're able to see that reality, right? You're able to see geometry, sacred geometry inside of a crystal. Even if you look right into it, you are going to be able to express that reality inside of it, right? And that's not just sacred geometry. The sacred geometry pattern, that shape shift in different expression, it has so much information in it that throughout symbolism, looking at it in an effect of hieroglyphics, you can be able to break down whatever geometry you stumble across when you work with the crystal inside of it, to the point that now you're able to discern information. Because in general, that's what crystals are. That's the very, very sacred, informative information it has and carries inside of it, that whenever you interact with these patterns, you are able to express different realities of information, to the point that you can create there's cosmic light through them and start to interact with different other patterns of geometry, because this is something universal. And the most important thing that's valuable in the universe is geometry, which can be shaped to the point of expressing it in a reality of creating a Merkaba field, because that's very important in the universe. And all of these shapes and patterns, they express themselves into this reality inside of crystals, to the point that crystals are being born. I mean, like each and every year, at least from 500,000 to 1 million new crystals are being born. And a lot of people don't know about this. And so much of these crystals, they come from the inner terrestrial world. And some grow from the inner terrestrial world to the point that now they start to be visible into this earth. And they start to break into pieces whenever Earth is going through earthquakes. Whenever Earth goes through earthquakes, some of these crystals, they break into pieces. And the people that are mining crystals, they search for them, they get them. So each and every year, at least 100, 500 to 1 million crystals, new crystals are being born. There are some you won't actually even have interaction with it. Right? So that's what's inside of these crystals. Sacred geometry of mystery information in them, that if you tap into these crystals, not only will it actually give you an energy enhancement, knowledge, or for you to start to get a healing, but now you're interacting with this information for you now to start to educate yourself through these crystals, right? And what gives life, or what gives a reality for these crystals to be created, is through the pattern of sun, right? Through the pattern of the sun. If you go outside right now, because I know somebody will not actually understand what I'm saying, which I'm coming to the reality of how I'm actually coming across this information, is over the fact that when I went into this crystal, right, I started to see different planetary systems within this crystal, that I could actually be able to interact with this in this reality and express my reality in those different dimensions and planetary systems, right? And so the fact that what got me interested when I got into this crystal was over the fact that it can actually be able to express a rainbow. And the true rainbow that actually take form and shape into this world, where do they come from? They come from the sun. Rainbows come from the sun. They're a projection of a bigger portal that is actually expressed by the sun. All right? And to prove this to you right now, go outside and look into the sun and just do this when you're looking into the sun. You're going to see like different patterns of geometry around you in different colors and symbols, right? Which is also what we can say that it's hieroglyphics. The very same hieroglyphics you come across whenever you're watching a movie that has a lot of symbolism. You look into that, you're now watching a movie way past it, to the point that now you can be able to decipher whatever information the movie is talking about in order for you to start learning what they're actually saying to you. And I'm not going to say everything that I've experienced there, because it's quite a lot, and some of it is now sacred to me, right? But going inside of this crystal, and again, nobody taught me. Let me show you something. The first time, nobody teaches me these things. I know them. I just have to connect, right? Because I think whenever I tell people that I don't read books, people think that I'm making it up, I'm lying. I don't read books. As a matter of fact, you can tell if a person is making a video, if whether or not they were just reading. You can tell that. Or you can tell if this person, what they speak about, it comes from within. The way they're expressing it, you can literally be like, This person knows what they're talking about. They're feeling it. You get what I'm saying? So I don't read books. But the first time when I started to interact a way of going inside of a crystal, it was through this stone. I got this stone from my sister. She got it from Durban, right? She got it from Durban, and it was a gift, right? And I had so much emotional attachment to it, to the point that I got interested and went inside of this rock, right? I remember I made a video on this on my YouTube to talk about it before people even knew me here, or the way I was known, right? And I would actually tell people that when I went into this rock, what happened? There's a world inside of this rock. And I don't expect you to believe me, right? I don't really expect you to believe me. I'm not even going to repeat what I experienced inside of this rock. I've actually kept it ever since. But it was the first time having to go inside of this rock and start to express or have to interact with the energies of this rock inside of it, right? And from there on, it made it easy. It made it easy for me to go into crystals overall inside and start to learn everything a crystal is able to tell and teach me with everything that I have to know, right? It's easy. So what I'm saying is, in other words, I'm trying to give you another way for you to tap into information that when you're having or working with your crystals, you're not only supposed to actually carry them, but you have to be in the crystal on a conscious level, right? And they love that. They talk, like this crystal was talking to me. I'm used to let me I'm used to clear quartz talking to me. Every time I touch a clear quartz, they want to tell me something. I'm used to that, right? Now, it was for the first time I touched the white quartz, and it was the first time touching it, and it started to communicate with me, right? You look into it, you start to see visual effects and images that can come in a symbolism and start to actually learn everything from it by just connecting with it. But in this case, I chose to go inside of this crystal and learn a lot about it, which I'm not actually even sharing so much that I've learned about this crystal. Because even with crystals, I'll never go online and start to read about the crystals. No, I don't do that. I don't carry a book to read about crystals. I need to go inside of a crystal because that's what they need. That's how you're able to learn and educate yourself. So in other words, I'm trying to teach you that if you want so much information about crystals, which they can be able to project a different informative world for you, you can be able to go inside of it. All right, you can be able to go inside of it. By meditating with the crystal, it's easy for you to actually project the reality of going inside of one and start to actually interacting with it. And then you start to get to the source of that information. Somebody has come here and asked me, what is your source of information? I am the source. I know you won't like it when I put it that way, but it is the truth. You could be the source as well. The only thing that you need to do is look inside, not outside of you. And that's what I'm trying to teach people. You need to go inside of you, not outside of you. I am outside of you, but in reality, I'm your subconscious mind that is inside of you, teaching everything that you already know. The only thing that you have to do is tap into it, right? Is tap into it. That is why when you're listening to me, you're not hearing my voice. When I'm speaking in frequency, in a vibration. If you think I'm lying, whenever you're listening to my videos, sit down in the form of a meditation, in a lotus position, close your eyes, listen to me speak. You'll start to listen to a frequency and a vibration to the point that a different world will be open to you, and you start to connect to the information that I'm sharing way deeper and greater than I have actually laid out for you. Right? Than I have already laid down for you. If you sit if you sit down in a lotus position, close your eyes and start connecting with what I'm saying, you'll start to open yourself in a different experience of more advanced information. Because now you're connecting to what? Frequency and a vibration, which is a different sound and tone that can be able to decipher to you in a form of an information for you to start to learn and educate yourself. That's what I'm saying. Right? So what gives life to these crystals all the time? It is the sun. When you look into the sun, you see one color. No, there's different colors there. I want to prove it to you again. Look up into the sun and do this. You'll see geometry pattern with different colors that reflect as a rainbow, which is an expression of this crystal. I'm telling you. The sun is the one that gives life to these crystals. They're being born each and every year, millions of them. And these crystals, they can grow like trees. And that will happen when the second sun comes. They'll start to grow. You'll see it. These are living beings. You are a crystal as well. When you close your eyes, you become in a deeper state of meditation. You start to see different patterns and shapes of geometry. Because now you're getting connected to your crystal being, to your crystal body. Then the next thing that actually appears is symbolism, which is a mystery. Hieroglyphics. You connect to that, you decipher information. See, you don't need a book, but you need yourself. All information is inside of you. Whatever information that's outside of you is not more valuable than the information that's inside of you. And that's what I'm trying to teach you. That's why it's important for you to meditate. You're connecting to your source of power. You are the source. You are your only source of information. The only thing you need to do is sit down in a lotus position and start to connect with these patterns. It makes it even much more easier if you're going to meditate under the sun. Because all the geometry information will start to pour inside of your crown so that you can be able to decipher and discern all this information way better than anybody else who is just waiting for a book and read. Right? So you have to do this. Crystals are there for you. Crystals are there to teach you all of these things. The question is, are you wearing a crystal or are you connecting with it? You have to go inside of a crystal. Know how it feels to be a crystal. If you're able to know how it feels to be a crystal, then it will be much more easy for you to connect with them all the time. It'll be easy for you to connect with your crystal body. Then you start to see the shapes of geometry around you. Then you know that now you're in your crystal body. You're connecting with your crystal body. You're interacting with whatever that is mysterious to you, to the point that when you come up to the symbols and signs and patterns, you're able to discern and decipher all of that information and educate yourself. You are the source. You are the greatest educator. Nobody is a better educator than yourself. It might seem as if like I am a better educator spiritually. No, I'm not. You are. The thing is, you haven't actually interacted with you to that level. You're relying on me. You're relying on everybody. You need to start relying on yourself as a source of information and answers you're looking for. Right? Start doing that. Project that reality.